Let's compare a spoiled sourdough starter to a hungry hooch-filled sourdough starter to a healthy, active sourdough starter. For science, I decided to let one of my sourdough starters sit out on the counter for multiple days without feeding it. While sourdough starters can definitely grow your typical fuzzy mold or just green spots, anything like that, and it has gone bad if you see that, what often will happen before that is that you will have a sourdough starter that's gone bad. It's going to be either orange or pink. Now, when you see the pink or orange, that is not mold, but it is a harmful bacteria. That isn't just a hungry or weak starter. It is unsafe, and no amount of feeding or scraping off or pouring off the top layer can save it. It will make you sick. Do not use it. Just throw it away. Now we have a sourdough starter that a lot of people, when I show this, they think that it has gone bad and that it is mold. And while I admit it does look a little funky, and if you're not used to sourdough starter, you would probably think that, but it is actually perfectly fine. It just needs to be fed. When you have a sourdough starter that sits in the fridge for an extended period of time, you will likely get a layer of liquid on top. That is the fermentation liquid. It's also known as hooch, and it can range in color from a kind of a light gray, like you're seeing here, to pitch black. I've seen ones that are like very, very dark, and you can either stir it in or pour it off. There's definitely a debate on which you should do, but do whatever you want, and then you can just feed it as usual and either let it rise or you can put it right back in your fridge. And then here, I'm sure many of you are familiar with what a healthy, active sourdough starter looks like. This is my main sourdough starter. I keep it on the counter 24/7, and I generally feed morning and night, roughly 12 hours apart. If you have a sourdough starter and you are questioning whether something has gone bad with it, you want to make sure not only to look at what it looks like, but the smell will also let you know a lot of times. But sourdough starter has many smells, so you are going to want to get familiar with that. But the orange sourdough starter that I showed in the beginning, it smelled so bad. It just smelled rancid. It smelled like vinegar, but rancid, disgusting. You'll know right away. And then the one that's been in the fridge, it has a very acetone smell, like nail polish remover, but not even necessarily in a bad way. It still smells really fresh, but that smell means that it's very hungry. And then a active sourdough starter on the counter that's being fed on a regular basis. It should really smell like almost sweet, yeasty, like bread would smell. Though, again, the smells can definitely range. You want to make sure that you are keeping your starter healthy so you know what to look for.